Hey everyone, Kyle from Cosplays and Trash, and I'm enjoying some new stuff that I got from dumpster diving recently, and thought about, why don't I make a video talking about how I dumpster dive? We can use the term more broadly to mean acquiring trash from literally anywhere. I know dumpster diving literally means taking things from dumpsters, but if things were about to be in a dumpster, I kind of consider that dumpster diving anyway. Oftentimes, especially in residential neighborhoods or even outside of businesses, people will just put trash on the street that it's kind of a signal for, hey, the city can come pick this up, or if anyone wants it before it goes in a dumpster, it's fine. Anyway, here are 7 tips to keep in mind when scavenging. Tip number 1, don't do anything illegal. I know that kind of seems a little obvious, but there's a broader question. Is dumpster diving actually illegal? Most places, no, it's technically not, according to the law. But private businesses and other entities may not be pleased with the activity because, it has a bad rap to it. We're literally jumping in dumpsters here. Keep in mind, this video is not legal advice. Definitely familiarize yourself with local laws because there are things like trespassing that, are technically illegal, even though grabbing things out of a dumpster may not be. But before you jump in headfirst, it's worth knowing the legal risks of doing any of this. So it's unlikely that you'll be charged with theft, but keep in mind being on someone's property, digging through their trash cans like a starved raccoon without their permission, that could be breaking and entering or trespassing. Additionally, dumpster diving is generally frowned upon in polite society, whatever that means. If you can confirm that what you're doing is technically legal and there aren't any no trespassing signs, there aren't any gates, there's nothing you have to break open, chances are it's probably going to be legal and probably going to be fine. Kind of rule that I have is when in doubt, don't enter. Tip number 2, how to actually look for dumpsters. Keep in mind I'm using the term dumpster pretty loosely here. As most people already know, you can typically find trash receptacles and other dumpster-like things outside of major businesses, but you also want to expand to urban neighborhoods, schools, churches, public locations, specifically ones not with a lot of traffic. Additionally, know what items to look for. There's a million retail stores out there in the world, but if you know you would never want anything from that retail store, even to repurpose, not really a point to probably dumpster diving from there. Also, keep an eye out for any old or unwanted furniture or appliances near dumpsters in residential areas. While small niche items are great, broader materials such as swaths of fabric, really large metal sheets, or foam can actually be found in some of those places. But keep in mind a lot of dumpster diving involves processing a lot of the trash and doing something else with it, especially when you're making cosplays out of it. Alright, tip 3, let's talk about getting ready to actually dive. If you're a trash goblin like me, you probably already have gloves, a ladder, a flashlight, any cutting instruments like pair of aviation snips, trash bags, and other equipment already in your truck. Sometimes I don't even wear gloves because what I'm getting is pretty sure that it's fine. In general, I would say that's a good place to start if you don't want to grab anything else and you're just kind of worried about your hands. Also, in terms for camaraderie and safety, you may want to bring a friend along. I sometimes bring Willard. Tip 4, and this kind of goes back to tips 1 and 2, make sure that what you're taking is actual trash. Dumpster diving is purely taking things that previous owners do not want anymore and have surrendered completely. Do not steal. On top of not stealing, don't take things that you aren't actually going to use. I am a terrible example of that because I will take anything if it looks cool or maybe I could use it one day in the future. I suggest not taking things that you don't have room for. Don't keep so much dirty stuff or things that you got off the street that you're going to start alienating those people that you love and or want to live in their house. Tip number 5. Definitely stay alert. Again, dumpster diving is mostly not illegal, but it's not exactly looked on with a lot of grace and elegance. Sure, getting something from the side of the road is great and may be seen as normal, but a retail worker may scream if they exit the back of their building and find you jumping out of the dumpster. Also, be very, very clear with what you're doing. Don't argue, don't be confrontational. If you've made a store owner or a cop or a retail worker or a neighbor or, to be honest, just some random passerby that's probably going to call the cops on you because they have nothing better to do with their life, if you are kindly asked to leave, explain again what you're doing. If someone is in a reasonable position asks you to leave, it's probably best just to leave. The trash is not worth getting in some sort of physical or legal altercation because someone finds something they're doing suspicious. Granted, I'm not saying that that person is in the right for asking you to leave, but similarly, not speaking from personal experience or anything, if your neighbor found it suspicious that you like to go on walks at 10 o'clock at night, maybe it's best to walk the other direction when you go on your nighttime walks so that your neighbor doesn't call the cops on you for walking down the street in your own neighborhood. Lastly, don't really lollygag. Find the stuff you like and then leave. The longer you just stay around, it may look a little unscrupulous. Tip number 6. Don't leave a mess behind to give us a bad name. please clean up after yourself. Please don't pull up to dumpsters and just start yeeting all of your trash in there. The dumpsters are typically used for some other purpose, and if you fill them up, then people are going to have stricter and stricter rules and have less publicly available space like this. Some places explicitly say, do not dump things in here if you are not part of the municipality or part of the store. Point 7. Not only do you want to clean up the dumpster to make things better, you also want to clean up yourself and all of the trash that you get when you get home. In the same way that you do not want to ruin the retailer's day by making a mess of their dumpster, you don't want to make a mess of your house, your living situation, or yourself. For your own safety, don't immediately take anything inside your house unless you have a way you can verify the cleanliness ahead of time. For example, I got some blankets and curtains for free from someone's shed recently, and while they verified they didn't particularly pour nuclear waste on them, I definitely washed them and sanitized them a couple of times before I used them. For larger options, sometimes just hosing down things, taking an outdoor brush and cleaning things down is not a bad idea. You don't want to track that stuff inside your house, and you don't really want to track it on you. Personally, I think dumpster diving is great, and obviously since I make most of my cosplays out of trash, that is the best place, better than any retail store that I could imagine. Hopefully you got some cool tips from this video. See you next time.